Wanted to give you a real short course on how do we decide what's right and wrong. And by that, I don't mean that I'm going to tell you the answer to any ethical question you've ever had, but how do we actually build to the place where we begin to address the questions of what is right and what is wrong. So I've built this pyramid, and the pyramid obviously is as a foundation. So the very first thing that we want to look at when we talk about right and wrong is assumptions. So one of the baseline assumptions really for all of life is this material terminal world all that there is, a temporal world, or is there another world outside of this one, an eternal world? And that would be one of the great assumptions that people might bring with them. If you believe that this life is all that there is, then you have certain views of life. If you believe that there's another life outside of this one, then that encompasses other views. So those are some baseline assumptions, and we're all biased and prejudiced by our assumptions. We all begin there, so we want to make sure to say that out loud. The second thing that we want to emphasize is knowledge, and the knowledge issue is really one of source. How do we know who it was that gave us the information? So if we're listening to a news source, wherever we get our news, our first question ought to be, who is the one who actually originated that knowledge? And do we know who owns that particular knowledge or that media outlet? That's going to be important too. The third issue is one of truth. Lots of people throw that word around, but what we mean by that is what can we trust? And when we ask the question of trust, we have to address the issues of reliability and verifiability. How do we know that something is reliable, but beyond that, verifiable? That is, I can actually go and prove it through various means of evidence. Then there's authority. To me, really, authority is the issue and the question of all of life, which is who says? Who are you to tell me? Is really the question that all of us ask on a regular basis. So the issue of authority is huge. And that then leads us to the issue of ethics. What is right? What is wrong? What is good? What is evil? Those are the kinds of things that I think are important for us to recognize and deal with. And so when we talk about our upcoming paper on Be Interesting, I'm concerned that you think through the issues of ethics, and we're going to be talking more about how to actually construct that paper, but make sure that we understand that when we talk about right and wrong, we're not just talking about our perspective. We have to really engage a lot of different points of view at a lot of different levels. We'll be talking about that, but I wanted to make sure to talk to you about this first.